Okay.
We need to establish here too. So
Laura is on her way. She's gonna be a little late, so.
what is 6 o'clock?
All right. 6 o'clock, please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, also, I'm going to read our mission statement. In partnership with the communities, the mission of the Dover Clinton Felton School District is to educate individuals in an environment of trust and respect so they become self-directed, responsible, lifelong learners. Roll call, all board members, or I shouldn't say that. We have 6 board members. Laura's on her way, so she'll be joining us momentarily. We also have Superintendent Hunsid with us. We have our Community Ed Director Tracy Tollefson and our Special Education Mary Ann Martin, and some guests. So thank you all for being here. Do we have any changes to the agenda, Shannon?
Nope, we do not.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. 5, public comments, rebel recognition. No comments. Rebel recognition team.
The Knowledge Bowl for the middle school went down to Fergus Falls last week and represented very well. They got like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 6th or something out of 20 teams. I could be getting that wrong, but they scored very well.
They did well.
So
That's awesome.
I'm not sure about the middle school and high school, but elementary conferences were last week. And everyone looked super busy, and there were lots of kids in the building when I went to my kids' conference. So thanks to teachers, they get to be a long day, but it's worth it when you get to meet all the families and see all the kids. So appreciate that.
Just want to wish our fall sports teams best of luck here. They're going into playoffs. So girls are Wednesday night, right? Pelican
Yep,
Rapids
Pelican.
someone.
Yep.
And then the boys have a bye this week, and then next Saturday at home at 2 o'clock. And then I know I should have wrote them down, but Mr. Andreessen brought up, we had some cross-country kids do very well.
And they're going to Bagley tomorrow, Thursday. It's this week. They go to Bagley for the section.
Okay.
Yep.
So congratulations to those individuals. So that's awesome. Anything else, team? All right, report 6.1, Mary Ann, welcome. We have a new sound system, so hopefully it'll pick you up.
It's nice.
Yeah. We're very classy here.
And I did give everybody a special ed report. There's a copy. I'm sure you guys will want to file this away, so. I'm just kidding. So just wanted to give you an update on the number of special education students that we're serving right now. As of October 18th, and actually I just checked it again today, and it's the same number. We haven't added anybody else. We have 285 students, and that would be our open enrolled students as well. And our open enrolled students, I thought it was about 87 special education students that are open enrolled to the district, and that mostly would be Moorhead. We have, some Barnesville, Hall Lake, but most of them are Moorhead. And then you can see the other number on May 9th, it was 294. So that's 9 less, but it's really common. We always have that ebb and flow throughout the school year of, whether students are moving into the district, moving out of the district. And right now, I believe in the elementary, we have about 14 evals going already. So that's my next heading is evaluations have started, and it can be anywhere from teacher referral, parent referrals, 3-year evaluations, and those have started at every site, so elementary, middle school, and high school. And then Tiffany Bushley is running the elementary student intervention team meetings. That's assisting with interventions, leading the special education meetings. So let me kind of back up. So the student intervention team meetings, those meetings are held weekly, and that's to go over, like if a teacher has a concern about a student, it doesn't have to be necessarily for special education. It can be, there's a concern, let's talk about it, and it could lead to mistakes, they bring them back to the student intervention team. And if those interventions were not successful, that's usually when we go to special education evaluation process. And when the interventions are starting, the teachers always contact the parents, so the parents know what's going on, because nobody wants to get a phone call and go, hey, we're referring your child for special education, and they haven't known anything about it. That should not happen. So, and then Tiffany also, as part of her job duties, I'm having her, she has special education meetings at the Dilworth site and at the Glendon site once a week, and those are really helpful. Just giving updates about due process, any type of filing, talking about evaluation and that due process. So that's been really helpful as part of her job duties. And Katie Oman is running the student intervention team meetings at the middle school and at the high school. So she's doing that. So that's been really helpful too, and just knowing that those are already up and running. And those student intervention team meetings, those are required by the state, so that we have a process in place throughout the entire district. So we have to have that. I was just going to say, the start of the 22-23 school year has been off to a great start. Someone asked me this last week, and right away I was like, okay, let me find a piece of wood. You know, I'm gonna knock on wood, because you always worry about, it's just been a really smooth process, and I was telling Shannon too, just with that transition of having all of preschool and all of elementary at one site, and then having middle school and high school all at one site, it's really been a benefit for our resources within special education, just because we've had, you know, like the level 3 EBD program has always been at the Glendon site and not at the Dilworth site. So then if we have a need at the other site, it's like, okay, do we provide services at the other site, or do we have that student move to this site? And now it's all at one site, so it's really nice to have those resources all together. Also, I was going to say too that I spend, as of this year, I'm spending every day, or every Wednesday at the Glendon site, except for this Wednesday, because both Brittany and Wayne need to be gone this Wednesday, so I'm going to be in Dilworth, and I let everybody know. But it's one of my goals that I'm working on, and I see it as being very beneficial. Again, I think I talked about this last year. I feel like I just didn't get to know, especially the special ed paraprofessionals as well at this site, and being at this site, they know where I'm working out of the office where Shannon works out of. I try to make myself more visible. I'm in the hallways, I'm stopping by the special ed rooms, so I'm just getting to know people a little bit better and know what's going on at this site as well. So that's been really nice to do as well. Like I said before, we have special ed teacher meetings every Tuesday in Dilworth, every Wednesday in Glendon, and then every third Tuesday we have a special ed para meeting at the Dilworth site, and every third Wednesday we have a special ed para meeting in Glendon. And I invite the principals, so the principals go as well. Shannon's been going to those that he can attend, because he has a lot of other meetings as well. But I have an agenda. I've been trying to hit on some professional development topics for them, and also give them a platform too if they have concerns or questions about things. And I feel like that's been really beneficial too, because they feel very comfortable sharing information and sharing concerns that they have, to talk about those in a safe place too. Wanted to mention we have Special Olympics, and I think I wrote this wrong. Special Olympics bowling, Brittany, it's not November 1st, is it? Or
Yeah, that's the Unified Special Olympics, so it's an invitational,
Yes.
not the like official.
Yes, so the unified one, so that's the one that our new DAPE teacher, his name is Jonathan Pape, he's gotten that organized, and so I believe there's 5 or 6 high school students that are going with to assist as well. And Jonathan has been a great addition to the team, special ed team. He's trying to get things up and going, and he's working really hard at that, so that's kind of nice to do that. Also, we'll continue to have our STAR Autism consultant come. They come one time per month to observe and provide feedback to special ed teachers that are using that STAR program with students that are on the autism spectrum. And this is no cost to the district. This is through Lakes Country Service Co-op, and the cost comes out of the low incident project that Lakes Country Service Co-op provides. Special ed paraprofessional staffing at Dilworth Elementary, we're fully staffed. At the middle school, we still have 2 special ed paras to hire, and we have 1 special ed para to hire at the high school. Special staff evals for special education. I have 4 tenured special ed teachers that were on the rotation. We got those completed in October, and then there's 8 non-tenured, so they require 3 evaluations each year that they're non-tenured, and again, we got 1 completed so far in October. Goal is to get 1 more completed in December, so that's going well. Special ed paraprofessionals, I have 13 on the docket, so that's just 1 eval each, and we'll either get that completed in January or February. That's our goal. I continue to go to the MDE Special Ed Directors Forum 1 time per month, and those are virtual. And then our region board directors meeting, they're 1 time per month as well. And they've done 2 in person so far. I attended 1 virtually and 1 in person. It kind of depends. It's nice to be able to have that option of virtual because it's hard to be out of the district that many days, so. Any questions or comments or anything for me regarding special ed?
The breakdown between students receiving special ed in elementary versus middle school and high school.
Oh, the percentages?
Yeah, roughly.
Well, overall, I would say before, we were at about 24%, and that's high. And right now, we're right at the state average of 16% across the district. I haven't broken down to.
I was just curious, like, of these kids, how many are in?
Oh, I didn't break that down.
Yeah. Do you know roughly though? I mean, is it half and half?
I would say, well, right now we have a larger population. Our largest population right now is at the middle school. Yeah, but that's our highest group, and that's where we have, because we added 1, I moved 1 of the special ed teachers who would have been in the elementary. I moved that person to the middle school, so we had an extra person, and plus we added 5th grade to the middle school as well. But 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade is our highest. And I would say the elementary and the high school, they're pretty even. Yes, because I broke out because of staff. Yeah. In elementary, and when you think of the needs, so I wanted to talk about that too. I'm glad you brought that up. So with our numbers at 285, it's not always, and Brittany knows this too from being in a special education teacher, it's not always the number of students that we have, it's the needs that the students have, and we do have several, well, our ASD program at the elementary, Carrie Krebs teaches that, and it's higher need ASD students, and have quite a few high need students, so we always kind of try to balance that out with the needs that we have. How many teachers we need for those kids. Yep.
Yeah, sorry, I think you've already noticed, I apologize since I was late. So the drop from 302 to 285, but
Yeah.
is that just students were aging out or they moved to a different?
I would say that we have that ebb and flow. I feel like our numbers kind of go up and down, and every year I feel like we start a little bit lower, and by the end of the year we'll be up just because of new referrals. But also, we've had some families that have multiple kids that are that were receiving special education, and when you have those larger families move out of the district too, it can take a hit with our numbers as well. So we kind of see that, and I was just saying right now, I know the elementary, I believe we're doing 14 now, so it's we'll see that. Very common.
Any other questions for Mary Ann? All right, thank you. Always nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you, it's nice to meet you.
Okay, let's see, 6.2, board committee reports. Want to talk about our negotiations?
We had negotiations last week with the MSEA, and I think they went really well. We were able to agree on categories for folks that belong within that agreement. And then also, I think we're pretty well tied up on the language, just about goals overall has been to sort of break the chain between, with regard to health insurance, to lower the cafe amount for the a la carte part.
Cafeteria
Plan, and break that with the amount that folks get for health insurance. The goal there is trying to encourage people to have health insurance, trying to offer more for health insurance. So I think that group seems to be on board in that regard, so that's going to be helpful. And then I think we're waiting back for a response from them. We'll be negotiating in on this, I believe, or maybe it's the 9th.
No, I think it's before that, the third.
Not the 9th.
4th.
We all have dates here.
So in November.
The second, yeah, Wednesday, the second.
Wednesday the 2nd.
So one of those days in November.
Sorry.
November 2nd. We're gonna get the thing done, so.
Plus or minus 2.
March and May. That's
We
my
know where
word.
we're meeting.
Unless anybody's got anything to add.
Nope. Pretty much wraps that up.
Any other committee meetings? All right, let's move on. 6.3, superintendent report.
Yeah, so first thing on there is, obviously, we had something sent out last week for auctioning and with the mascot and trophies and banners and such. You saw my response to you early this morning before we sent it out. We'll just pass it off to the activities committee. The activities committee will give a recommendation to the board. One of the things we've already done is we've reached out to the HOL conference. We have seen their responses, so we'll take that into advisement too when we go to our activities committee meeting, so they can see what other area schools are doing. So one thing I will say, this is my, 5th school district? Well, I guess I was here before, so this I'm back. In the districts I've been at, they all throw them away after a number of years. One of the things we talked about this year is we didn't want to do that, and that's why we auctioned them off. And so that didn't get received that well, so we'll bring it to the committee and we'll use other schools as examples, come up with a plan, we'll share it with you guys, and we'll go from there. So, yeah, so there we are. I don't think there's a whole lot else to cover there. One of the things we want to do is we want to take the funds from this and use it to spruce up our new facility, right? So is it new banners, is it new painting, is it new whatever, to honor our alumni, honor our other athletes, past athletes, so that's what we're using this for. Obviously, we have a new mascot, so when we sell this stuff, we can use those funds to offset, so we can put our new mascot in these areas with really no cost to the district. So that's the whole concept behind it, and why we're selling it, and why we're going to go that way. Now, whatever comes of the activities committee, we'll see, and we'll move from there. So, thoughts, questions on that?
I guess my thought is we probably could have communicated that better, but I just want to remind the public that may be watching from home, our board meetings are open to the public to come and hear what we're doing. We talked about this in August after our work session, so I kind of feel like, I personally can only speak for myself, I didn't get a phone call or an email about it, but Facebook, I'm not on it, but I just don't think it's a place to do business of a school district. And so I'm disappointed in our community for airing laundry out and not coming to the people that they've elected to make these decisions. So that's my 2 cents. This is why, when I try to teach my children, if you have a problem with someone, go and actually talk to the person or email them or call them. Don't air your dirty laundry out. So there's my 2 cents to whoever watches this.
Yeah, it's kind of the rebel way, it's to be responsible, and I guess that's what we're trying to do here, is to be responsible. And with the stuff, we don't want to throw it away, we want to do something with it, and so that's what we're doing there. Anyway, it is what it is, we'll move on, and we'll have the committee help us and decide what our future looks like as far as plaques, trophies, etc.
And we are meeting in November 3rd,
It's that same week. I won't give you a day.
No, we're meeting on Thursday, November 10th.
Okay.
The next week, the next Thursday.
So we'll discuss it
And
then.
as we discussed at the last board meeting, I brought that up, that we had already started talking about signage and what we wanted to put. So, and we all agreed that we were gonna take our time and do it, like you said, we wanna honor our student athletes, our student debate theater, all those students and our alumni. So it'll be good, good conversation.
I agree. And so we got some input from others, that was okay. Audit, the audit, is going to, I Bailey will present November 28th. They were maybe thinking they could have done the 14th, but then we had to move that board meeting, because I was gonna be at the MREA conference. So it'll be the 28th of November. I just wanna make sure you knew that. Haven't had a chance to really sit down with them. They're still working with Marcus and putting some final things together before they wanted to visit with me, so. I will visit with them, obviously, before November 28th, and they'll present to you on that night. District leadership team, I gave you a little handout. In my previous districts, we had district leadership teams that we had to develop because they were not developed. I know there was one here in the past because I found notes on it and a little previous history on it. Anyway, that's kind of dissolved or something happened there, I'm not sure. So this is just some information on creating one and getting one started. We do need to do this. And so I just wanted to share this information with you. We do need a board rep on there. So anybody interested in serving on the district leadership team. We need a teacher from the elementary. And now that I'm here, we need a middle school and high school. I think in here I just say elementary and high school, but we need to have one from each site. And then we need some people from the public. So I have I think you say 2 to 3 parents, and I want to make sure that they have students that are actively in our school. So decision makers or people, or not decision makers, they're advisors, but I want them to have a little pulse of what's going on in the district, and that's what I wanted to have as students in the building. We also need to have students, so we'll work on that. We'll start developing it, because these are the people that we need to bring things to, possibly like the trophies and that. They can have some input on that to give us some advice, and we can take that and go from there. So this is in the process of being developed. I wanted to share with you kind of what it's about, who would be on it, and
When's
the
your
role
goal to
that they
start?
serve. What's that?
When's your goal to start this?
Yeah, well, and that's why I thought I would find out who on the board might be interested, and then kind of start looking at a timeline. For me, I would say it's probably best January 1, just so we have time between now and December. It gets a little nutty. And so I'd like to get all these things put together so we can have our first meeting in January.
Okay, yeah, and we usually do our committees in January, so.
Yep, that would be great. Yep.
So if anybody has some interest, and we all talk to each other, like, what are we interested in? Do we want to move committees, so, yeah, we can definitely discuss that.
Perfect. Last thing I had in here is the construction update. You can see Huseman Schreiber was out here today building the walls for the shop. They're moving fast. This morning there wasn't a block laid, and if you went by there now, you'd say it's about halfway up. So they probably, I don't know how many guys were over there. When I talked to them this morning, when they were just getting started, I bet you there was at least 15 guys there. And when I came back here this afternoon, they were all still here. So they're gonna move and they want to get it up as fast as they can, so that was great to see. Glendon, we're just doing the punch list. We did meet with them last week. Tracy, John, and I met with Comstock and GLG to kind of review the punch list. There's still a fair amount of items on there. There's a punch list that GLG and Comstock had, and then there's a punch list we have. And so our admin and the teachers have been getting information to our principals so they can share it to this punch list. And that's the other thing we talked to them about. We got to get this thing wrapped up at the Glendon site. In Dilworth, it's looking like it's probably going to be, if I think back to the OAC meeting, it said November 30th was the final date for one of the rooms. I think it was the media center or something. So the gym, we're shooting for November 11th Veterans Day program, where we can just get into that gym. We'll have egress because we can get out. So we can get into that gym and go out of that gym. We can have an entrance. I talked to Dennis today that even if the corridor isn't open yet, we still have a working door to come in. We also have 3 other doors for egress to get out. He meets with Brian from the state tomorrow. He's going to talk about what we're thinking, and then Brian he'll have to give us the sign off if we can or not. But I'm hoping after he hears that, comes back next week and says, okay, based on what I'm seeing, it's possible. So I'm hopeful that that can happen. But offices, we moved some stuff. Some of our furniture got put in the office areas, and so it's starting to take shape. And I was hoping that by Friday the district office could move out of our classroom and into there, but it'll be up to Brian from the state, and after I was out there today, I'm not so sure that's gonna happen, so we're getting very close. Budget-wise, we're still okay with the construction budget. I know there's a lot of people always wondering about the shop and this and that. Remember, and I'll just remind everybody, we did some additions and subtractions from the scope of this project to try to save spaces, as you guys are fully aware, and we've talked about throughout the year. Our art, our band and choir at the middle school, the rooms turned out beautiful and bigger than what they would have had, saved that little gym. Wrestling team can use the little gym now, so we save space in this gym. We're building a shop, that's not addition. We don't need to sell plaques and trophies so we can build a shop. The money was rearranged right inside this project so we could get a shop. It's something we talked about that was missing, so we're doing that. If you notice, we're also building a 4-stall garage right out over here. We're hoping to have the students help and work on that and build that. The concrete was poured today. It's for our transportation department, so those vehicles can be inside and plugged in. It's not going to be insulated, it's just a shell. But that is also, we're able to do that because some people are donating some in-kind work in that. And again, with the modifying of the scope of the work, we're able to get that, which was much needed, so. Yeah, we're just still hoping to be done soon. Moving on, this facility, as hopefully people can hear, the sound is better tonight because the AV stuff is set up in here better today, and so hopefully that helps for future meetings. Questions? Anything for me?
Your work parking lot, is that done though?
It is, yep, they're using it, yep. Yep, the problem with using it is you can walk around the building still because you can't get in the door right there. But at least you can get off the street if you want to. Then you gotta walk halfway down the building, so. It was nice last week, I don't know, this week, maybe people back on the street closer to the door, but yeah, it is open, it is usable. Whatever that is.
Well, it looks nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it does look nice, so when everything gets wrapped up, it's just gonna pull it all together.
There you go.
Positive thinking,
Well
right?
said.
So all of the house drop-offs, and that's still all working the way it started with, working good?
Yep, we're doing it the same way like we originally, that redraw and stuff, Yep, we did, if you remember, so during parent-teacher conferences that Brittany was talking about, we had them over here too for the middle school. And I was with MetroCog because they set up in both places to get input from the community. One of the concerns we have here is the morning drop-off in the afternoon, or drop-off and pick-up in the morning and in the afternoon, because just like I'd probably do as a parent, I'd go into the parking lot, drive down to the middle, drop off in the middle here. Well, there's also people doing that from the other end, and now you're in the parking lot, meeting traffic, there's people trying to park, there's people, it's not perfect. We met with them, talked to Dan about that, we talked to a few parents I did, because I was out there visiting with some of them. It's not perfect, everybody's aware of it, so they drive slow and it works, but it's not perfect. So we did talk that in our next meeting with MetroCog to see if there's some things we could do potentially next year with that, maybe make some adjustments. This year we felt it's not a time to do it. Let's live with it for a year, maybe it'll get better, maybe there's some other things we didn't think about. But yeah, otherwise, yes, it's staying the way we had originally drawn. Yep.
Any other questions? All right, let's move on. 7.1, regular meeting. This is the approval of the October 10th, 2022 meeting. Do we have a motion? So moved. Motion by Amy. Is there a second? Second by Laura. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Consent agenda. Claims and accounts, Laura.
$1,681,367.08.
Also included in your packet is the treasurer's monthly budget report, approving the donation from Houston Engineering in the amount of $100 for robotics. Approve the donation from Amity Technology in the amount of $250 for robotics. And approve the donation of the DGF Hoops Club in the amount of $562.15 for the DGF Girls Basketball backpacks. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, is there a second? Second by David. Any discussion or questions?
I just two ones, but not really a question, but I didn't know, Weed Video, what did they do towards the end of the,
Video.
Video.
and then there's another one after that, something like Sawsats Link or something like that, some weird.
Well, I asked a bunch of questions today to Brooke Belka, because I didn't recognize him either, and now, of course, you're gonna ask me something I didn't ask. Was it in,
Before that. Well, not before that, it's back in this section, so.
okay. Some of the W you said?
Yeah, I don't know, it's in the first Excel section.
Oh,
Maybe. Video, Sawgrass Link.
okay, so this was all done with the P-card, so ITE, middle school ITE supplies. I guess I don't know all these
I've
specific.
never, that's just the name I have never heard of,
Yeah.
and we video, I didn't, I
Yeah,
remember seeing that.
yikes, yeah.
I'm sure they're legit, like just,
Yeah, and
something that they were.
And just so you know too, Ronnie, remember when we went through our budgets and I showed you like middle school budget, high school, the principals know, and they can see every item in every department now and exactly how much they spent, where they spent it. So now when these come through, those principals already vetted those out with that teacher. So I just know that their budget's good and I have conversations with their budget and I'm not gonna get into like, is it we video, you video, what video? But, so yeah, I guess I'm assuming.
I don't have any issues with it, it's just, thought maybe somebody knew what they were.
Well, I will inquire because now I got my mind spinning, so we'll check it out. Any other questions on bills?
All right, I have a motion by Nicole, a second by David. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. New and unfinished business, 9.1, Community Education Annual Report. Do we have a motion? Motion by Nicole, is there a second? Second. Second by Amy. There's a handout that Tracy gave us. It looks like, Tracy, do you just want to go over just what you do with this?
Yeah, overall, we just submit this once a year. It's our annual report that we send into the state. And it overall just lists mainly, the focus is what we're doing in the different areas for youth services, enrichment, adult with disabilities, and any adult classes we offer. And then we just have to plug in the participation numbers, just so that you can see those. One thing to note, just comparing it from last year, we're a little bit down in almost all areas. We've had a little bit less enrollment, and a lot of that construction, some of our classes we, didn't have in some spaces this year. But in other areas, we've added lots and lots of kiddos to Rebel Kids Care, so I would say that's probably 150 since we started. So I keep saying every day, I'm so lucky that we have that room because it's wonderful, and we have, right now we have one teacher and 5 students that work in Rebel Kids Care that run the program with 70 kids during the school day. So it's been a need, and we're appreciative for you allowing us to do it. So wonderful, it's been great for us.
Any other questions?
I'll just want to say this too, something that when I came here, talking with Tracy at Rebel Kids Care, or having some kind of a before and after school daycare. And that's, it came to be, we've got people to finally work in it. That was a few things we had to work through, but it is really paying off for our communities, and that's what it was about. So it's great.
Wonderful. All right. We have a motion by Nicole, second by Amy. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Snow removal. This is to approve Oleg Services as a snow removal vendor for the Glendon and Dover sites. Do we have a motion? David, Amy, you want a second? Sure. All right, questions or discussion, or maybe Shannon can fill us in here?
Well, I do have the contract here, so if anybody wants to look at it, I do have it here. So I don't know if you guys, did they get it? They did the Glendon site last year.
Yep.
We had a few issues in Dilworth last year with the other company, and so we had to actually call them to help us out a couple times over in Dilworth. I did visit with the other vendor. He said he was gonna give me a number and rebid it. He did it. And Olex did, so I just thought, well, it's nice, because then we have a one-stop shop. If we have a snow issue, we can call them and we know it'll be taken care of. And so we'll see how this goes with them managing both sites this year. Unfortunately, the other one did not come through. I would have liked to at least have some conversation. But when I talked to him on the phone, it sounded like he was for sure. And anyway, he did. So
So 1 year?
this one is to 24, I think it says, April 30th of 2024, so it's 2 year. Yes, 2 year. Do the math.
All right, any further discussion? All right, we have a motion by David, a second by Amy. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 9.3, post-issuance compliance policy. To approve the second reading of the post-issuance debt compliance policy. Do we have a motion? So moved. I got the poll first. How about you second, David? Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? 9.4, this is an update for the fee schedule. That is in our packet. Can we have a motion? Motion by Brittany, is there a second? Second. Second by Laura. Let's have some discussion here. The reason why the fee schedule got brought up is we wanted to go ahead and
Those that were subbing in some of these areas were had to get $1 less than the people they were filling in for. With all the subs and the shortage of subs, we said, let's just give them that same starting rate. They don't get $1 less, they're gonna get the same as the other person if it's somebody on the brand new. So it's the first step. And so we had a lot of discussion, I think it was the budget committee and the personnel maybe. And I think you guys said, yeah, it's just a no-brainer. We just need to get more people to help. And so that's all it is, to have that sub pay $1 more instead of $1, or $1 more so it matches them instead of $1 less. Am I making any sense?
Yeah, you are. Yeah. So that's the only change,
Yep.
group on the fee schedule. Everything else is what we approved this past summer. So this is just to change the substitute pay. So we have a motion by Brittany, a second by Laura. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 9.5, this is the first reading of the following policies. 506, student discipline. 514, bullying prohibition, I can't say that word.
Prohibition.
Policy, policy 522, Title IX, sex non-discrimination policy, grievance procedure and process, 616, school district system accountability, and 806, crisis management policy. Do we have a motion? Motion by Nicole, is there a second? Second. Second by Brittany. Is there any discussion or questions? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 9.6, this is a confidential contract for Shannon Nowak. This is our new food service director, effective October 31st, 2022. Do we have a motion? Motion by Amy, is there a second? Second by Laura. Any questions or discussion?
She came in Friday and met with her at 10 o'clock Friday morning. She went through all the paperwork, walked her down the middle of the kitchen again, and she is extremely excited to get started. She's, and I'll just speak on behalf of all district office employees. We were super jacked, and you can see Brooke over there going, she is a super lady, and I'm just excited that we're gonna have a leader in that department. And I can't say enough how Tammy and Penelope have stepped up during this transition time, those two ladies, and honestly, Val and the other ladies in Dilworth too. There's a missing component that we desperately need, especially with state funding and state grants and all these things that Shannon has a lot of experience with that these ladies don't. But I'm gonna tell you, these 2 or 3 or all of the ladies have been working, and some guys there too now. They're all been working extremely hard, and I just can't thank them enough for the job they've been doing, and then Tammy kind of taken on that leadership role to bridge a gap. And so, visit with her today, she said, hey, is she ready to start? So, I think Tammy's going, yeah, it'd be sweet if Shannon could start now too. So, anyway, it was great. So,
Wonderful.
yep.
So we have a motion by Amy, second by Laura. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion Motion carries. 9.7, this is new home residential property tax abatement. This is to approve a resolution for participation in the residential property tax abatement program for new construction through December 2024. So we have a public thing to read. We'll get a motion first. Motion? So moved. Second? I'll second. All right, go ahead, Amy, and read it.
Whereas Minnesota statutes 469.1813 469.1816 grants Minnesota counties with the authority to offer prospective tax abatements under certain circumstances. And whereas Dilworth and Felton School District has received the request from Clay County as evidenced by the Clay County Resolution 2022-30 unanimously approved by the Clay County Board of Commissioners on October 11th, 2022 to join with the Dilworth and Felton School District to participate in Clay County's 2-year residential property tax abatement program. And whereas other political subdivisions within Clay County have also expressed an interest in establishing their own residential property tax abatement programs and the desire for Dilworth and Felton School District to participate in those programs. And whereas the Dilworth and Felton School District held a public hearing on the matter October 24th, 2022. Whereas the benefits of a 2-year residential tax abatement will at least equal the cost the Dilworth and Felton School District will incur throughout the abatement. And whereas the implementation of a 2-year residential tax abatement is in the public interest, as it will increase tax base and provide employment opportunities. And whereas it is the desire of the Dilworth and Felton School District to participate in a 2-year residential property tax abatement program consistent with those adopted by local entities. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dilworth and Felton School District will participate in a 2-year residential tax abatement program as resolved by a taxing entity within the district, assuming such authorizing resolution is adopted by the entity on or before December 31st, 2022. Be it further resolved, the eligibility, options, and application of the district's residential tax abatement will match that of each individual entity's authorizing resolution.
All right, so we have a motion by Nicole, seconded by myself. We'll do a roll call vote here. Oh, sorry, Ramus.
I just was wondering if there were any questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, please, questions. Thank you, David.
So, is this, do I understand this correctly, that if the county decides there's going to be a tax abatement, then we're following suit?
Yeah, so great question. So I haven't had an experience with this before, so I've talked to a lot of people just to say, okay, I just want to understand exactly when it's a 2-year deal. And so the county did pass theirs, and Dilworth, I talked to Baton, they are going to do theirs. I talked to the mayor of Glennon, I don't know if you guys have met her, Tracy, and they are talking about maybe doing the same thing. Obviously, we want to follow suit with that so we can get more residents, obviously, and we can build our enrollment hopefully up. It's a 2-year deal and so on. There is a cap on it, I can't remember, is it 250,000 or something like that? So anything above that, you still have to pay tax on that piece. So if it's a $300,000 home or property, you'd pay on 50,000 for 2 years and not the full 300. Okay, so I want to say it's 250, but anyway, so yep, that's what it's about, and hopefully we just promote growth is the concept.
So are other school districts going to take part of this in Clay County, do you know?
I don't know that. That's a great question. Visiting with our cities and communities, everybody else was, so I felt like, and I'll just say this district has done it for a number of years. So I look back at our history too, and they've done it every 2 years, so, you know.
She just asked you
we
that.
change
I'm like,
it.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that does.
yeah. And so I just thought right now, changing another thing up, I'd probably just leave this one alone. Just kidding.
Sounds good.
Kidding. But yeah, so you know, I don't know from,
We do want more students, we want people to come to our communities, so.
we want growth. That is
We
to
want
promote
growth.
growth.
So do you know if the county resolution is for all of the county then, or just for our district?
No, it's for the county. The county sent out a deal that they passed it. And then they're asking other county entities to follow suit. And Dilworth is going to, so Peyton and I talked, and he was hoping that we would be too. And then talking again with Tracy, she felt that her city council would do the same thing, so.
So the county's going to pay the county share of the tax.
That's the way it sounded, yeah. That's how that works. I think that's all they can do. They
Yeah,
can't
they
bar,
can't
so.
do anything else.
Right. So,
And otherwise, I guess you'd have to, if it's rural residents, you'd have to have the rural entity approve it too, if it's a township.
I would assume so, yes.
But I'm assuming this is more so for the cities to try to promote the
Yep,
growth.
from what we're- yep. That's with talking to the two city planners or the mayor, that's the idea, is to grow. And I guess that's what Clay County was probably hoping to for the county, so. Just as I read through theirs, when I got the report from the county, that's kind of what all their language was talking about promoting growth in the county, so.
And Lonnie, I was at a meeting a couple weeks ago with the Playground Commission, and all the mayors were there, and it sounded like all cities were pretty much gonna do it, because the county was doing it as well.
The county in the letter to us encouraged us and asked if they would be partaking. Of course, we get that choice, and here we are, but, yep.
I have a motion by Nicole, second by me. We'll do a resolution roll call. Laura? David?
Yes.
Amy? Aye. Myself, aye. Ronnie? Aye. Nicole? Aye. Brittany? Aye. All right. Passes 7-0. All right, 10.1, next board meeting is set for Monday, November 7th. This is a change for anybody watching online. We moved it up a week because Superintendent Hunstead is going to be out of town. So we're going to be having our meeting on Monday, November 7th, followed by the Budget Committee meeting directly after the meeting on the 7th. Just our shout out as normal. If you want to work in our great school district, please check out our website or call the district office. We'd love to have you on board. Anything else, team? All right, what time is it here? 6:46, meeting is adjourned. Did you sign that resolution already?